Good afternoon, patrons. People at the back there, if you can hear us, just put up your hand, please. Great. We've also got quite a few chairs still vacant in the midsection for those who don't want to stand the whole time. Good afternoon, and patrons at the back, can you hear me okay? There we go. There we go. I'm just waiting for one or two people just to fade in. Okay. Okay, well, welcome everybody. My name is Brad Kidd. I've been a friend and an accomplice with Gary Prentice for many years. We all are here today to celebrate the life and the memory of Gary Prentice, who I believe has touched more people than we can imagine. On behalf of Gary's family, thank you all, and they really mean that deeply. Thank you all today. Your presence means more than you may realize. It reflects the kind of man Gary was. He was loved, respected, and someone who touched many lives, kept many homes alive. Today isn't about long speeches or heavy moments. It's about celebrating a life well lived. A life full of stories, laughter, loyalty, hard work, and solid friendship. Gary was a man who did things properly. He showed up always. He was steady, dependable, and generous to many in every way. And the deep roots he built in this family, in his family, were reflected in his friendships. He never threw away a friend, ever. And in the places he loved most, Sinkwazi, Sodwana, Gary Prentice's vehicle could go there by itself, I'm sure. We will hear today from his children, Candace, Michael, and Heather, and we'll also have a chance to meet Adrienne, his mom, which I'm very personally pleased to meet after all these years. The family has contributed to 2 memory books available today. The family would greatly appreciate it if you could take a moment to write down a memory, a funny story, or simply a few words, or just sign it. These messages will become cherished memories for them and live on for those who want to remember Gary as he was. During the course of the program, we will join together in song, something uplifting, as we give thanks for Gary's life and the memory thereof. After the service and the celebration, we'll continue at the Sinkwazi Ski Boat Club, a place Gary greatly enjoyed spending time and was a keen member for many, many years. Please join the family as we honor him together, sharing memories and perhaps raising a glass a little bit later. And for now, I would like Sean to come up and open with a prayer, and then the proceedings as per the pamphlet will follow through, and we'll catch you at the end. Thank you.
Thanks, bro. Can we all stand, please, if possible? Thank you. We may bow our heads in prayer. We say, Father, thank you for this day that you have made, for the safety, the well-being of all sitting here, for the protection of those who have traveled from far, and for all those who could not make it here today. We thank you for the life of Gary that you have shared with us. We thank you for the blessing of his kids and grandkids that we get to enjoy each day because of him. The countless lives that you have sowed into through Gary, from his charitable heart, his willingness to always make sure that others are taken care of, provided for, and their needs met. We thank you for the great work in people's lives you did through him, even without him always knowing it. He was always willing to help, given support to those who needed it the most. May you heal the hearts of his family and loved ones, and bring great restoration from the exchange of his life given back to you today. May you bless this time we have together as we wish him a farewell. May the conversations and memories be fruitful, and may the impact and love he has in all our hearts be cherished forever. Amen.
Hello, we can stay standing for the song.
I know who I am, 'cause I know who you are. The cross of salvation was only the start. Now I'm chosen, free and forgiven. I have a future, and it's worth the living. And I wasn't made to be tending a grave. I was called by name, born and raised back to life again.
Please sit. Okay, no, just switch it up. Hello? Hello? No? Hello? Can everyone hear me? Yes. Okay. Marky is going to not be speaking today. He has asked me to share that he has so many beautiful memories, but he has decided he wants to keep them for himself. It is his way of saying goodbye to Dad, because he's got some memories that might be too naughty to share today. Gamalibi, Gaza, Gal, Chopper, Goloza, but most importantly, Dad. He blessed us, he blessed people, he was full of life. And in the same way that he blessed all the people around him, Can I move this a little bit? This thingy, thank you. You good? Okay, got it. Some of my favorite memories with Dad are the simple ones. From the time he worked with King, with Group Africa, we would travel on road trips, doing OMO and OROS promotions, and we would stop on the drink, the tailgate open, and that little key thing, the army knife, and he would slice it, and it tasted amazing. My amazing life partner, man, bought me some the other day, and we opened it. It was disgusting. I don't know what I was thinking, but it must have been the memory. It must have been the fondness that mattered more than the taste. Today you'll be seeing sunflowers all dotted around, wild, not shop bought, picked by beautiful boys that Dad loved so much. Sunflowers are so important to all of us. They are something that remind Michael, Heather and I of Dad, because when we would be driving to Greytown from wherever we were going from, Mkuzi, Zini, Ishawi, and there was a sunflower wild on the side of the road, Dad would stop, whip out the Swiss Army knife again, and pluck a bunch, and they were Gogo's favorite flower. His 90-year-old mom, those were hers. And that is for you today, my Gogs, from everyone here. Our beach adventures are something that we all love, that are all important to all of us. Mozam, Zini, Zinkwazi, as kids, we'd be woken up at 4 o'clock in the morning by him stomping down the passage. But we'd get to drive and watch the sunrise, watch the boats go out. We'd go kneeboarding as a family all together. We'd go tubing, boat trips. Fishing was our life. The ocean was our life, and it was his life too. These are sudden memories that keep come flooding back when we have to speak about something so important. They start flooding back in the most beautiful way. All of us piled up into blue, our old Land Cruiser, cruising along the sand to Van Halen and Dead Eye Dick. Those were the top-notch songs that we needed to listen to. Those are the songs that remind us of Dad today. So when you watch a slideshow a bit later, you're going to hear some different alternative songs. But that's Dad. I'm a water baby. Michael's water baby and Heather's water baby. And all our kids are now water babies because of Dad. He loved the water. It was his calm, and he brought that calm on all of us. He would make me swim out to backline. And I was so scared, but it was so amazing because that's where I got my little fish fins from. But swimming there with him, I knew he was always there. He had 2 legs by that stage. He hadn't lost the one yet. So he was still good. He wasn't going in circles when he put his swimming leg on and going round and round and round. So he was fine. Another memory that makes me laugh is Heath and Maddie's dad, Mark, was 6 or 7 or 8, and Dad took him out fishing. And Mark got sick, and Dad refused to come back in. So he tossed him overboard, and the poor guy had to swim all the way back to shore at 8 years old because Dad wasn't going to mess up his fishing day because somebody was getting sick on the boat. These are the memories that define Dad. This is what Dad is. Heather reminded me that when Dad took us fishing, I thought it was quite a good idea to make a peanut butter and banana sami for both samis. Because I'd watched a movie and it looked pretty fun. It didn't go down well. We were all sick. The things that remind us of Dad are soft caramels, halva, peanut butter and bovril samis, not toast, mixed samis white bread, chugged down with a cup of tea, so it's like all a nice mush in your mouth together. That's what made him smile. Dad knew me better than most. I was the oldest, the neediest, and sadly the sickest. Heather likes to call it first child syndrome. But to most, I think I was his grand slam. Dad may have been quiet in ways, but present in when it mattered. He was always there. During COVID, I was in the ICU. Somehow he bribed the doctors to get in. I was high, and I remember seeing this white, zipped up man come to my bed and go, "Hello, Bubs, I love you." And I was so confused. He got in to the hospitals during COVID. How he did it. But he did it because he shows up when it matters. And I think that's what we all need to remember is Dad showed up when it mattered. My firstborn is a very sick boy too. Not once did he not show up. That's what matters. I see him in my brother Maki. The expressions, the mannerisms, the zest for life, the naughtiness, and a few other things I can't mention. I see him in my little sister. She has all the best parts of Dad. Her drive, her heart, her ability to keep us all standing when we need it most. And in myself, because I can't leave myself out. I see determination. When things get tougher, I keep going. And I'm proud of us all, because I feel we all do that. I'm proud of our family. I'm proud of all our mistakes, all our flaws, and all the lessons we've had to learn as a family. I'm happy because it's brought our family together. I'm happy because now we continue with a new chapter and season of our life. Dad lived many seasons, colorful seasons, fully, passionately, and with joy. He loved fishing, flying, and his family, his friends, his grandkids. They loved their chopper. To say it simply, he loved love as well. I'm so blessed he got to know Joshie, Nina, Maddie, and Heath. A man that has got us now sorted. Thank you, Kevin. To those moments I'll never forget. I'm so thankful for every single one of them. I made a promise to Dad. A promise a few months ago, I'd say 8 months ago, that if the end came, we wanted to be there at the end. I was grateful to be with Dad at the end. Unfortunate circumstances didn't allow everyone to be there physically, But we all were there. Mikey, Heather, Gorgs. I was with him for us. I held his hand for us. I told him to let go and go be with Jesus for all of us. And now the Lord is holding us all up together. Thank you, Dad, for the memories, the lessons, the love, the laughs, and the trust. Thank you, Granty, for having my back, for loving Dad and doing anything you could. I'll never forget that, Grant. Thank you for showing us, Dad, how to keep going and how to care and live life fully. We love you and we will carry on with you, always in our hearts. Sorry, guys. I'm sure I'm gonna miss the quick calls. Hello, Babs. Yeah, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, I love you back. Those are so important, and I'm gonna miss those forever. So, it's the hardest thing to say, but cheers, Dad. And I'll see you on the other side. And in true Gary style, if I can do it.
Yo, that was good. Okay. One moment.
Sorry.
Okay. DJ, am I a bit loud? Can everybody hear me? Too loud? Okay, lekker. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I feel like it's a bit loud. Should I turn it down a bit? No? Cool, okay. So if my speech is a little wobbly, please go easy on me. I didn't use ChatGPT to write it, so expectation should already be fairly low. All right, before I begin, there are some thank yous that are very important to us. So to Bruce and Jilly, thank you for your incredible support and for helping make today possible. To Hides, Haley, Adele, Tabs, for coordinating today and making sure everything came together the way it did. To Jack and Chase, our sunflower boys. The sunflowers, which, like Candy just said, and if you read the back of the program, are very significant to our family. To Claire Latham for the penny gum, thank you so much. It's part of all the arrangements you see. To the Shawi, Darnell, and Zinkwazi communities, thank you. From food to the sound system to extra chairs, so many of you stepped in to help in small and big ways. It means so much to see how loved Dad was and how many people wanted to contribute in some small way. To the Darnell Club, this place was very special to Dad for many years and also to us kids. Although we were never actually allowed in the bar, our experience of this place was limited to brown cow milkshakes while the adults had all the fun. So it does feel like a bit of a full circle moment that we're finally allowed in now. And yes, in case this has crossed some of your minds already, this place is definitely a vintage classic. Groovy, if you will. But in all seriousness, to Wendy, I'm not sure if I can see you. To Roy, you might be hiding, who knew Dad and was a friend to him for over 30 years. They are two of the employees here. And as well as your team, who are all hiding somewhere, thank you for going above and beyond for this celebration. It means a great deal to us. So we actually chose this place as part of Dad's send-off because it meant something to him as well as to us. It represents community, and that's something that Dad always valued. Thank you to every single person here today. Some of you knew Dad for many years, some for only a short time. But the funny thing about Gary was that even if you had only known him for a few weeks or months, he had a way of making it feel like a lifetime. So from Candy, Mikey, myself, thank you so much for being here. Finally, thank you to Adrian, our dearest Gogo, for raising the man that all of these people have shown up for today. It cannot be easy to say goodbye to a son, but I think we can all agree that Gary packed 100 years of life into 62 short ones. All right, let's do this. It's not as long as Candace's, but okay. Dad loved his children, his mom, his brother, his niece and nephew, and his cousins. But man, did he live for his friends. He lived life fast, full speed, sometimes with very little breaking. Accountability. That wasn't always his strongest feature. Dad preferred to just turn the page and keep moving forward. Talking about feelings or explaining some of his more confusing life decisions would normally have been about as easy as trying to nail jelly to a wall. But strangely enough, when Dad ended up in hospital and had to spend time in bed, something shifted. As his youngest daughter of a very short 32 years, I am 35 now, so you can do the math and see that I have been demoted of that position by his very loved little Nyoni. And what he and my brother lovingly called the happy clapper of the family. I suddenly had a very captive audience. And I wasn't always easy on Gary. I spoke to him about life, about his choices, about parenting, about focusing on one life partner instead of a rotating selection. You must all know him very well. Normally, he would have escaped these conversations by claiming he was on a boat somewhere in Sodwana, which, to be fair, often wasn't entirely untrue. But during those days, we talked about deeper things. His faith, his regrets, what he believed success really meant. And it gave me something I am incredibly grateful for. I got to see Dad through a different lens. Not just as a daughter, looking at her. One moment. Just a bit dry in my throat. Okay. Okay, not just as a daughter looking at her father, but as a person looking at another human being. And what I saw was a man who was thoughtful, intentional, kind, generous, and deeply loving. Yes, he lived life fast, but he loved people deeply. He spoke about many of you, about friendships, memories, and the people who meant something to him. And hearing those things gave me a glimpse of a man I could truly be proud of. In the end, some of you will know, where's Brad? Hello. All right. The thing that mattered most to me was Dad's redemption. I was very fearful. He made me a bit worried sometimes, but thanks to the many conversations, the help of Brad, and many quiet moments sitting beside Dad's bed, I truly believe that when Dad finally met what he liked to call the big man upstairs, the door opened and he was welcomed home. And regardless of what comes next, that feels like a victory in my humble opinion. So thank you all for being here today to honor a man who lived fast, loved deeply, and left his mark on every single person he met. As Dad liked to put it, I can't whistle, but he did always say, over and out. Thank you. Eric. Thank you.
Hi guys. Sure. This is going to be very difficult. I hate starting like this because I look so weak. But I've put a few memories together and I thought I would speak basically on our Prentice side of the family. I'm proudly presented me personally and assured that Gary's mom is with us. Adrian has been the matriarch of the Prentice family for many years. She's been an inspiration to all of us Prentices. To my side, my mom and my dad, my brother and my sister. Sorry, I've also, believe it or not, I've got a dog. Can I just put it sideways? Thanks very much. I don't want to ramble on too much, but you know, Gary died on Marie's and mine's anniversary. Adrian lived to become 90 3 weeks after Gary died. He would have been so proud to have seen you turn 90, Adrian. You know, my early memories of Gary go back so many years. I absolutely adored him. Brett, my late brother, and I were probably about 6 or 7 and were known to not be the goodest youngsters around town. My dad would ship us off to Harden Heights where Mick was working at the time, and Gary had just been born. It was before Bruce was born, and Brett and I would ask Mick to take us and go and shoot monkeys all day. Terrible story these days as we become more greener. Gary would sit in the Peugeot 403 on the front seat between Brett and I with the sparky blonde hair. It was white, it wasn't blonde. And he'd look up at Brett and I and say, "Pass me the gun, I want to shoot." Anyway, after irritating Mick for the day, we would go home to Adrian, who always made the most wonderful chow that she had learned from her mother, Hilda Clough, who was famous, writing books about different recipes, etc. But we had wonderful days, and that's where Gary and I became very good friends. I went off to college, Brett went to college, Mick went to college, Barry, my late father, went to college. And there was always a Prentice there, generally not very well thought of by teachers. And Gary, Bruce at that stage, who I think saved the name, he came a few years later. There's a lot of friends here who are also married, for college old boys. And when I was playing rugby for college, Gary would walk up from Merkiston, and I had a very pretty girlfriend. I've still got a pretty wife, I better say that. But Gary would walk up from Merkiston and he would come and watch me playing at Goldstones, and he would sit with my girlfriend But he looked at her more than watching me playing rugby. You know, Gary didn't have the greatest years at Maritzburg College academically. And I'm talking openly because Gary and I always spoke so openly to each other. His life, when he left school, like a lot of you people know, I don't want to give you a history lesson because I never understood history at college anyway. His academic intelligence, and there was intelligence in people in a different way, and solve problems and make things happen in the real world. And that was Gary. Gary could solve any problem. He was an accomplished policeman as a youngster. He was probably one of the youngest cops that got posted to Shawi, and he was a well-respected member of the intelligence and the CRD, which leads me to understand, and for people to understand how his life carried on from there. Being a young policeman in a Shawi, he was the man of the moment with all the ladies. He met Fiona, who we all still love, the mother of the three lovely children, Candace, Michael and Heather. And Gary and I always kept in contact. I'm 6 years older than he is. But we would meet up at different times, at discos, and thank goodness Marie would allow me to do that now and again. But he was a youngster, always up to nonsense, but was incredibly driven and had a different type of intelligence and determination that most people could have ever understood. You leave school early, you go to the cops, they think, oh, this oak, he's just another Sienki of South Africa. But as I say, laugh and teach that Gary taught us a different type of intelligence. The people who build and solve problems like Gary are very few and far between. He had an incredible desire and determination to complete what he thought was an idea and what he would start. He would always finish it off and make sure it was done better than anybody else. Sorry, I've got a few notes here. When Gary had left the police, he started selling mpopo. What do you call it? Poto mpopo. Meal on the Makatini flats. And he worked hard and he grovelled and he battled to keep his family going, and they lived in Jacini. At that stage, I was working for Ovland and developing Sarona Bay Lodge. So our lives came together again. That was probably in about 86, 87. Gary and I had started a huge friendship once again. We'd spend hours and hours on the sea, mostly feeling rough as anything from the night before, and trying to catch fish. But Gary slowly started his techniques and became a well-known and well-respected fisherman. We then, with our young families, in between, Gary then went and joined our great mate Kingsley Holgate at Group Africa. feel a bit like Mick Hucknall. Hello? Not bad. Maybe I can raise my voice. Hello? We're back. We're back with the side speaker. Is that all right?
Wait.
Talk a bit. Okay. Hello? What are all the rock stars doing out of this? Hello? Not yet. Hello? There we are. Back again. Okay, I'll move. Yeah, Gary then felt that he could do more for his family and he joined Group Africa. I hope this is not sounding like history and too much of a long speech. But he joined Group Africa and became very accomplished in what he did and highly respected with his peers. Kingsley and all the guys taught him an immense amount in the business world, and his marketing skills got honed. But don't forget, he was always a policeman. So wherever there was a problem with theft, anywhere, whatever, Gary was the one to sort it out. Cut a long story short, Gary was with Group Africa for a good few years, matured a lot, and started eventually, after being in Nigeria for many months, which was very difficult on his family life, and that was the beginning of Triple S, the business that he started. He came and saw me in Pretoria and told me what he was going to do, and off he went and got his first contract. He built that business on sheer guts, determination, intelligence, in a different type of way that most people would understand. And he had just an incredible way of relating to highly intelligent corporate businessmen that were prepared to give out contracts. Gary now had learned all these skills through Kingsley and crew at Group Africa, and it didn't take him 1 year, it took him 4 months. He started rising above everybody else very, very quickly. He went from small boats to big boats. He started enjoying life in many different ways, but worked incredibly hard. He would wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and work and work and work. If we were still cleaning our eyes out from the night before, Gary would be working. Gary then started expanding his wings more with his own business in Triple S. And Gary was a man of the earth, he was a man of the sea. And he was a man of the sky. He said, Spombi, you've got terrible names, Gary and I. We spoke to each other, and this is a genuine old history story. Gary and I spoke to each other 5 or 6 times a week. We found great motivation out of each other. We discussed family, we discussed friends, we discussed relationships. He spoke about his children often. He felt guilty for many of the decisions that he had made in his life. But Gary said to me one day when we were on the beach, a guy came and landed in a microlight. And he said, Spombi, you go. You go for the first trip. We'd never been in the air in our lives. So he said, no, let's rather send Gas. Gas is the boat boy. If Gas makes it, there's a good chance we'll make it. So we sat there with a beer in our hands, and Gas said, hey, all right, Nkosana, no problem. Gas got in behind this guy, but didn't even know who he was. He actually landed there because he had a problem with his motor. So that was the reasoning. I think we sent gas first. Off gas went bzzz down, Vardal flew around, landed. He said, okay, it's probably you next. I said, yes, this is not my scene. I'm not. Anyway, off I went. I was petrified. Closed my eyes, couldn't see, scared of heights, but now I owned a scaffolding business, so you'll never believe it. Cut a long story short, Gary went. Came back, he was exhilarated. He said, this is for me. I said, you can't be serious. I said, you've obviously had too many beers. It wasn't a month or two later, he had bought a microlight. From the microlight, I was at the farm in the Free State, and Gary says, "For me, you're not going to believe it. I bought a Bell Jet Ranger." I said, "You finally lost your mind." He said, "I'm going to learn to fly this plane, this helicopter." And from there, he never stopped desiring. He desired more and more and more and got what he wanted. He bought yak jets, he built up a collection of aeroplanes, and he tried to fly some of them he couldn't. He bought Cessnas, and Gary and I would go buzzing around in the helicopter, mostly with my eyes closed. But we spent many good days going to Mozambique and having wonderful days in the sky. That's why I say he's a man of the earth. He loved the farm where he grew up with Mick and Adrian. He loved the earth, he loved the bush, he loved the Makatini Flats, he loved the sea, he loved Sedona, he loved Mozambique, he loved being in the ocean, and he loved being in the air. Sorry, this might be going on a bit too long. Everybody get thirsty. He had an incredible resilience with people and an understanding and an immense amount of generosity for people that were in need. Anybody who had medical problems and genuine problems, Gary would make sure through words and through help, that these people would be helped through their lives to get back onto their feet. He was unbelievable, and he became a lot quieter. I must just mention that when Candace, Heather, and Michael were so young, and Fiona was not around at that stage a little bit, but Taryn joined, and she was a wonderful mother to the kids. Gary then went on to join Tammy for 10 years. He was a 10-year man. It's probably the easiest way to explain it. 10 years was enough with Fiona, which didn't suit my understanding, because I was with my lovely Mira. We've been married for 47 years. I'm going to take my hat off to her to allow me to do what I was when I was with Gary. He then went on to Zululand and started enjoying Sedona, where he had settled in. In between, we had a terrible incident. Bruce, his brother, Pete Harvey, and myself were on a boat, and we had a terrible accident, and Gary lost his leg. At that time, he was with Tammy. It was a huge shock to us, and Gary took it in his, if you want to, in his one stride, because the other leg was gone. In between, he had another accident. He took a big Dodge, 6.4 litre engine, spun it around, hit a tree, and smashed his other leg. And that's not Gary, because he was incredibly good with machinery. But at the end of it, he really battled, and nobody would ever have thought that he could have carried on the way he did carry on. He got his helicopter license back. He bought bigger boats, didn't put 2 engines, put 3 engines on. He started honing his skills as a proper bull fisherman. Gary is now one of the legends in bull fishing in South Africa. After all that, what he had been through. With the help of Ron Williamson and our good friends of Team Galoza, we fished together for 30 years. Gary and myself didn't miss 1 year for 37 years, fishing, enjoying, talking to each other. After Gary had then made different choices and had got involved with Antoinette, who we all know, that was a 10-year, another stage. 10 years was enough, moved on. He then got involved, as we know, and got his lovely little Nyoni, Gabby, who was born at the age of a grandfather. Gary had become very different in his final years. I talk openly because we were open amongst each other. He absolutely adored Candace, Heather, Michael, Adrian, and Bruce, and the extensions of their families. When Gary became a father for the 4th time, he started becoming very, should I call it, introvert and subdued. I don't think personally that part of his life was what was going to suit him in a way, but he did love his little Gabby Nyoni immensely. Gary got sick and he phoned me, and Gary and I saw each other to secrecy with very many things in our lives. And the day he went to the doctor to have a blood test, to get his pilot's license once again, because he wasn't giving up, he said to me, "Spombi, I'm 100%. He phoned me the next day and said, "Geez, you can't believe it. They called me back. They want to speak to me about something." And then the start of his terrible fight with this terrible disease of cancer, Gary went about and tried to beat it. We spoke to each other. Every day. He told me personally that I'm not allowed to talk to the family, and I'm saying this openly because there are many friends they weren't allowed to know. He didn't want anybody to have any type of non-belief or whatever he wanted to call it. He was going to fight it on his own, and him and I were going to go through it until it became open. It was very difficult for me to keep it away from his family, and I'm glad I can speak about it today openly. Gary has very many friends that were phoning me. I went through a very harsh time in my life going through this with Gary, because all of his friends phoned me, and we kept in touch, and he kept his children at a bit of a distance, which was worrying me all along, and his mom and his brother and everybody else. But that was Gary. He wanted to do it on his own and beat it himself, which he couldn't at the end. But to Candace and Heather and Michael, he absolutely adored you. We spoke hours and hours about the three of you. But but he had his own hard ways. And to Adrian, who he absolutely loved, he'll tell me about Adrian weekly. Adrian became like a mother to me when I lost my own mom. We spoke about the family on many, many occasions. And to Bruce, his butty, the upstanding boy of the four of us, Brett, Eric, Gary and Bruce. Bruce has been wonderful, what he has done to try and unravel Gary's situation. To James, he's been fantastic. And to everybody doing this hard job to try and get Gary's life sorted out so he can rest in peace. Thank you very much. It's been very difficult. I'd like to just finish off in closing in saying that Swambi, I can't find the words here anymore, but all I can say is he was just a wonderful, wonderful best friend, cousin. Rest in peace.
Afternoon, everybody. I'd like to thank the three children, Candace, Heather, and Michael, for asking me to speak. I don't know if it's an honor or a hospital pass, but it's an absolute pleasure to be here on this happy day. This is Prentice, the families of the three kids, and Bruce's family. Thank you also for asking me to be here. When I look at the people, and I walked in and I saw lots of people that I know, I got a bit nervous about what's going to happen, not now, but later. So I think everybody travel safe, and if you drink too much, stay in your car. Dostoevsky wrote Crime and Punishment. I don't think it was part of Gary's reading. But he said, nothing in this world is harder than speaking the truth, and nothing easier than flattery. I, with my profession, have been to many, many memorials and celebrations and funerals, and too many of them are a fairy tale. And it's been so wonderful to be here today, to hear what's been said so far, because it's all been the truth. You go to a funeral and they say that some miserable old guy who never put his hand in his pocket at the club was generous. Or that an ugly old duck was pretty. Or that the school bully was kind. So we're not going down that route today. I don't remember when I met Gary. It was probably, we were drunk. But I've known him for many, many, many years because I worked overseas and Gary worked all over the place. We didn't see each other often enough, but we did speak regularly. And the phone call was something like this. I was on a cruise ship in Alaska in Glacier Bay. And the Italian officer came on the tannoy and he said, "Dottore, they come to the bridge." So I obviously thought something had happened at home. And I ran up to the bridge, and on the phone was Gary. The conversation went something like this. "Hello, Granty. How you, old cock? we've got a problem. And that didn't only happen once, I promise you that. Gary, as we've heard, Gary grew up in Newton, Greytown, born in Greytown, junior school or kindergarten in Greytown, then Merchiston, down next to the doozy. A bit of a worrying thing happened at Merchiston that day boys used to bring their sisters to the movie nights. And that was when Gary's lights came on. And he started reading poetry with them at night. It actually got worse because, as Eric's mentioned, he went to college. And across the road from college was GHS, where his appetite for poetry extended. After that short, sharp academic career at college, he actually went to the army and then transferred to the police because they got more money. And he did a few extra years in the police because he got more money. He also had a few mouths to feed by that stage. After his police career, as Eric's mentioned, he was an Impupu vendor on the Makatini flats. I think that's where he honed his amazing ability to speak Zulu. And if you were around the corner and Gary was speaking, you thought it was a Zulu, not a Mlungu. Obviously, Group Africa was wonderful for Gary with Kingsley and Barry, and he went to interesting places like Chugela Ferry, Pomfret, and Nigeria. I had the pleasure of going to Chugela Ferry one day with Gary with a gumba gumba on the back of a truck. Oh no! And when I heard that for 3 or 4 hours, I'd had enough. But we did have a few beers in Greytown on the way home. He then started contracting for a while and then developed an amazing business that he had in security. I know he was a detective, but I'm a bit concerned about his investigations after the lights went out. He was like a wealthy Zulu Sangoma, or the famous Sangomas of the Transkei, who had multiple houses in many, many places, which he traveled between. You weren't quite sure which one he was at when. Belen, Sodwana, Richards Bay, Tlitlui, Eshawi. Gary liked adrenaline. He first started riding motorbikes and hare scrambles, quad bikes. And then I was really alarmed when he sent me a picture of the most powerful road bike in the world, and it was called an R1, I think. Dreadful looking thing. How he survived that, I don't know. So he was racing super bikes at Kyalami. Then went on to his aircraft. I don't know, I don't think anybody knows, Brad, how many aircraft he does own, but if you die and you judged on the toys you've collected, he died a Numzan. Because there were so many ski boats and so many aeroplanes and so many big American big American buckies. I'm pleased to hear that somebody else got chucked out a ski boat, because Gary and I were fishing on the first Goloza at Vidal with the old mate of his, Mark Rutherford. And we had 3 wives with us, so they each took a turn to come over the 4 days. And my current wife got really ill down at the lighthouse catching live bait. And the weather was really bad. There were only 2 boats out, I think. And he said, we're going to go in at the point and jump and swim. And a big wave came up on the outside. We were probably 50, 75 meters off the point. And he said, jump, and we just disappeared to 11. And she survived. It's it's reassuring to see, as Eric mentioned, that there was still life in the old Nguni bull on the Makatini flats, and he was firing live rounds at the age of 60. He was incredibly generous. I had 14 years of study and many student loans, and I got my dad to liquidate me to get rid of the banks. And the second person who phoned me and sent me money was Gary. My daughter also climbed Kilimanjaro for a charity at Stellenbosch, and he wanted to know how much had been pledged and just doubled it. An amazing, amazing, generous man. Obviously, after losing his leg, he carried on. I don't think he ever really told the people how much pain he had. He had pain every day of his life. He had a phantom pain in that leg. He spoke to me about it often. There's nothing he can do to treat it. I think he treated it with POG, post-orgasmic glow. I don't know if anybody knows where the name Goloza came from, but for the benefit of the ladies here, I'm not going to translate it, but it was very appropriate for Gary to name his boat Goloza. He stayed true to himself right to the end. He had an amazing zest for life. Kindness, as we've mentioned, generosity. He could do anything for his friends. I always say, if you broke down in the middle of the night in the Transkei, who'd come fetch you? Gary would come fetch you. So whether he was skipping his boat, flying, landing his Cessna with the engine out, he lived an amazing, amazing life. He died at the age of 62. He did more than that than most people do, and double that time. So how can we summarize Gary? I thought about it while I was flying down this morning, and I thought a kind, generous, slightly portly, one-legged Zululand James Bond. Thank you.
Where's that? Is Dave Rattray here this afternoon? Yeah. So Pete wanted Dave to read it for whatever reason. I'm not sure. And then we do the slideshow. And then we close. Hello, Dave. Do you need these? No. How are you, buddy? Pete Harvey asked, as you may well know, for you to read this. Thank you. Hi all. Pete asked me to, he said he'd written this letter slowly because he knows I can't read fast. Family and friends of Gary, Cheryl and I wish we could be with you to celebrate the life of our great friend Prento. What a generous friend he was to our family. Here I sit on Mud Island,
grey skies above, trying to decide which of the many memories to share. I will try, but much of the early days, for some reason, are very hazy. Early days, Ishawi, police force, married to Fiona, kids' arrival, vital camping, Mozam prawns, and Vina Verda. Fishing the first bullfish 15,000 with Gauzy. To participate in the Sodwana game fish competition, Gary and I needed to fish alongside a club member. Luckily, two respected individuals from the boats, Mean Machine and Shuffler, offered to guide us on a proper conduct. Say no more. Thanks to Monty English, we were not expelled. Nigeria, Gary went to seek his fortune in Nigeria, and on his return to Sinkwazi, specialized security services were born. When Gary set his mind to something, he got it done. As the business expanded, boats were introduced to patrol the coastline, planes, helicopters began operating, plus a few motorbikes for fun. I would get the call, Bella, pick you up from the golf course. What a treat to fly up the coast to Berlin. Gary also owned a microlight and decided it would be a good idea to invite me along to take photos of the Amatakulu mouth. While we were at about 1,000 feet up, the cable slipped and we had to make a rapid landing. He was a good pilot. Head office soon moved to Sodwana, which was Gary's special getaway. He employed many boys to help on the beach, whom I'm sure will miss the generosity. After our accident, where Gary lost his leg, many of us would have slowed down, but not Gary. He was soon back riding his bike, flying his helicopters, and out to sea on the beloved Goloza. We were fishing all the big comps at Sodwana with the mission to win. We had the best boat and tackle, but we were not winning. Was it the aging Goloza team or Jan Makajol? Luckily, our skipper had a secret weapon by the name of Ryan Williamson, who's here today. The man who thinks like a fish. And it didn't take long before we started winning. How blessed we are to have had Gary as part of our lives and all these amazing memories that we will cherish and reminisce about for years to come. Hamagata, my friend, we will certainly miss you, Pete and Cheryl. Just very short. Just to follow up briefly, Gary always treated people with great respect, irrespective of their social standing, from mining magnates, corporates, to the boat boys. Everyone was the same. He assisted many, as it's been mentioned, who were in need of help. And there were many who benefited from his remarkable generosity. Now, on behalf of our Goloza team, I would like to pay tribute to Gary for all the incredible times we spent together and the long hours on the boat discussing whatever you could imagine. He would never discuss his own business, ever. He always kept us close to himself. These were special times, which we'll all miss. Thank you, Gary. Rest in peace, my mate.
is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I traveled each and every highway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way.
All of these lines across my face tell you the story of who I am. So many stories of where I've been, and now I got to where I am. But these stories don't mean anything when you've got no one to tell them to. It's true, I was made for you.
Family to drive me crazy, call me out when I'm low and lazy. Won't be perfect, but we'll be fine, 'cause I've got your back and you got mine. You got mine. We'll have tiny boxes for memories. Open them up and we'll set them free. There'll be bad days and some hard times, but I'll keep your secrets if you keep mine. You are the memory that won't ever lapse. When 25 years have suddenly passed, wherever you take me, it's clear I will go. Your love's the one love that I need to know. Your love's the one love that I need to know. Take my picture and then you laugh, 'cause I hate the way I look in photographs. Keep your memories, but don't live the past. I'm looking forward to the best days we'll have. You are the memory that won't ever lapse. When 25 years have suddenly passed, wherever you take me, it's clear I will go. Your love's the one love that I need to know.
I've got a new age girl, tell us what she's like. Environmentalist girl, does she ride a bike? She has a crystal necklace, she spend a lot of cash. Well, her vibes are rather reckless, heading for a crash. Or her flowing skirt is blowing in a transcendental wind, and she wonders without knowing, where did we begin? Mary Moon, she's a vegetarian. Mary Moon, Mary Moon, Mary Moon will outlive all the septuagenarians. Mary Moon, Mary Moon, oh, she loves me so she hates to be alone. Don't eat meat, but sure like the bone.
Excellent electronic equipment sponsored by Garmin, and we're looking forward to a great day. I see the surf's been a little bit shitty this morning when we got here. Seems to be settling a bit, and we're traveling up north. We're going to be fishing for marlin, and we hope to have a great day. having a great time, great camaraderie. Love it every year. We come back, keep coming back. Thank you.
To all the girls I've loved before, who travel in and out my door, I'm glad they came along. I dedicate this song to all the girls I've loved before. To all the girls I once kissed, and may I say I am the best for helping me to grow. I owe a lot I know to all the girls I have loved before.
Barracuda.
I'll be fishing in heaven, is where I wanna be. I've seen this whole world now, and it's seen enough of me. There'll be no crying. I'll be with all my friends. I'll be fishing here in heaven until we meet again. There'll be dinner on the table like there was back home, but I'll be in a good place and I won't be alone. Brothers and sisters, with my beautiful sweet mom, I'll be fishing here in heaven. I know it won't be long. I know a spot when you cross over, beneath the shade of a withered tree, high above the supernovas. Well, I am free. What I look forward to the most is fishing off that sand at the river of Jordan, and dip my big toe in, chasing that rainbow with stars in my eyes. I'll be fishing here in heaven where my father was baptized. I know a spot when you cross over, beneath the shade of a withered tree, high above the supernova. Well, I am free.
Early morning, there's a message on my phone. It's my mother saying, darling, please come home. I fear the worst, but how could you leave us all behind? There's so much to say, but there's so little time. So how do I say goodbye? Someone who's been with me for my whole damn life. You gave me my name and the color of your eyes. See your face when I look at mine. So how do I say goodbye? And I couldn't. You always saw the best in me. Right or wrong, you were always on my side. But I'm scared
of what life without you's like. And I saw the way she looked into your eyes. And I promise if you go, I will make sure she's alright. So how do I say goodbye? Someone who's been with me for my whole damn life. You gave me my name and the color of your eyes. See your face when I look at mine. So how do I say goodbye?
I love you so much.
Love you, bud. Okay.
Okay. I'll see you later.
See you later.
Yes, I will. I love you.
Gary, how's it, my bro? Davia, I'm just checking in like you've done 1,000 times in the past. You need to rest now, Kazi. You have done what you needed to do. You know all the good you have done. Go and sort the other side out. We will have our time together again. The memories we got, no one can take them away. See you then, Kazi. Thank you for everything.
Okay. Hello? Hello? Better help me, huh? Hello, yeah, got you. Wow, that's quite intense. Brings back some really big memories. In closing, from the family side, thank you all very much again. As we come to the end of this time together, we do so with deep gratitude for Gary's life, for the memories we share, and the laughter, the lessons, and the stories that will live long after today. Don't forget about the book. Please sign it. It means a lot to a lot of people. There's something special about a gathering like this, not only to mourn, but to honor and remember the man Gary was steady, capable, independent, adventurous, and deeply loved. I can tell you no more. You've heard it all today. His legacy lives on in his family and his friendships built in the places he loved. If you haven't yet, please take a moment and remember the book. We'll be heading shortly to Sinkwazi, to the Ski Boat Club, and to continue celebrating. From the family, Gary, dad, son, brother, and friend, thank you. I'd like you all to stand for a poem. It's a very old poem, but very befitting. They shall not grow old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. Gary Prentice.